good news from the East Asian front. Our brave soldiers have won another battle, taking over an East Asian town, plundering, raping, and killing all enemies inside. Another victory for Big Brother. As a result, the saccharine ration will be raised 3 grams this week. Keep up the good work, comrades. In other news, hate wheat pepper.
Attention! We have an urgent message for all of you. The party is a lie.
I have in my hand evidence of the truth.
Please ignore any interruptions you may be experiencing on your telescreen. We are having technical malfunctions, no doubt caused by Gold Steve.
There we go.
Now listen carefully. We don't have much time. They're probably coming after us this very second. What you've learned about history is complete falsehood.
Life under capitalism and democracy was much better than it is now.
People were free to speak and think as they wished. The government answered to the people. But then, things changed when communism began to take over.
You may believe that Ingsoc and the party created this new society on its own, but this is not true. It began in countries that were then known as the Soviet Union, China, Cuba, East Germany, and the party simply learned from their oppression.
From the Soviet Union, we stole the idea of a Big Brother figure, the leader of the USSR, as it was called. Joseph Stalin created a cult of personality, which elevated him to an almost godlike level, larger than life, and infinitely more kind to his people than he ultimately was.
We stole, too, the idea of a scapegoat of Goldstein, the man Leon Trotsky. We liked Goldstein, who was once on the same side as Stalin, but when it came down to who should seize power, Stalin blamed Trotsky for everything that went wrong, and ultimately accused him for treason.
Stalin was totalitarian and created a secret police called the Cheka to keep people in check. Those who seemed to oppose him, even the slightest bit, were arrested and either shot immediately or sent to prison camps in coma after attending a forced show trial. Sound familiar?
Furthermore, Stalin had tight control over the media and propaganda, only allowing pro-communist material to be produced, much like our own Ministry of Truth.
In the Asian country of China, the oldest civilization in the world, communism took root with the dictatorship of Mao Zedong and eventually resulted in the death of 40 million people.
The Great Leap Forward was the name of the rapid industrialization and collectivism of China. Oceania's economy and production, too, is focused on industry and lack of private profit. The Communist Party in China implemented propaganda that remained effective for generations after its decline, with an anti-riotous campaign that criticized opposition. Even in the face of torment, people still believed in the righteousness of the party and now, years after its death. The same blind adoration exists today in Oceania, where we still worship Big Brother despite the mass arrests and torture that has been done in his name.
Today, parents live in daily fear of their children who, because of the organization called spies, have turned into vicious animals who've been trained to have loyalty only for the party. In China, an organization much like that existed, called the Red Guards, a youth organization for the party.
The Ministry of Truth is concentrated mainly on fabricating documents to make them say what the party wants them to say. In China's 10th Congress, a new constitution was altered to change Mao's successor. Also in Soviet Union, photos were altered to remove unwanted persons, like the mini-true does today. Those who control the present control the past, and those who control the past control the future.
The small island nation of Cuba also underwent a communist revolution, and we share many aspects with them as well. For one, Castro, the leader of the revolution, asserted that revolutionary justice overrode laws. It was a clever ruse to allow the government to break their own rules. In Oceania, we have no laws, but that does not stop the government from breaking the laws of nature in the name of the revolution. One of Oceania's greatest victories over its people is the secret police, and how each citizen in their own way belongs to it and has the power to denounce their neighbors for thought crime and treason. Every move is monitored by the secret police. This idea came from Cuba, with its informant committees for the defense of the revolution, which monitored people's spending habits, contact with foreigners, history, and any behavior deemed suspicious. In fact, deviation from the party lines was a crime equal to treason. It was the start of thought crime. Trying to leave the island without permission was also a crime.
Free press was stifled. In Oceania, there's no such thing as free press, as every publication is created by the Ministry of Truth. After the Cuban Revolution had settled, the economy worsened. The currency was worth less and less, and black markets flourished. I'm sure you are all familiar with the black market here on Airstrip 1. You can find many useful things such as razor blades there. The only way to acquire such items is through the black market, because our own economy is so terrible. It mirrors Cuba's situation rather well.
Despite the obvious failure of the socialist system for the economy of Cuba, capitalism was villainized, using much propaganda. Here too was capitalism villainized, with stories of evil men in top hats that cared only for themselves and how much better society was without them.
Cuba, going along with communist doctrine that other states followed as well, made atheism the official religion, which is contradictory, I know, but it was just the beginning of doublethink. It heralded an age where loyalty to the party must come first over religious views. Although pearls are allowed their own religious beliefs, no one within the party is, because a good-thinking party member would not waste time praising anyone besides Big Brother.
East Germany also used oppression to eliminate those who opposed the government. Those who ridiculed the government or even told jokes about it were put in prison, just as those who commit thought crime against Big Brother are vaporized today.
People had nearly as little political freedom as we do today. However, they were not as good at hiding their oppressive policies as Big Brother was.
Commonality between our state of living and that of the people living in East Germany was an almost constant shortage of basic foodstuffs like coffee and sugar. Real coffee and sugar.
Both the Soviet Union and Communist China attempted to stimulate their economy with 5-year plans with production quotas to be met. Our esteemed nation has these as well in the form of 3-year plans. And like us, these countries were known to fabricate production statistics to make them seem like they succeeded, and that the economy was flourishing, when in fact the people were starving. And although we in Oceania may not be starving, we most definitely do not have enough to eat. Such the same happened in the aforementioned nations.
The fear of foreigners also permeated these nations. If one had ties to foreign countries, they could be arrested in the USSR. In Cuba, if you tried to leave the nation, you were arrested. In Oceania, we have such a hatred of foreigners that we can justify rejoicing over a mother and child becoming littered with bullets just because they're foreign.
Please excuse all unauthorized interruptions. Remember, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength, and we love Big Brother.